Before starting this, how many college people are here? College kids? Wow, a lot of college kids. Yeah, so I suddenly feel old. Have do you do dating in college? It's a weird question to start a tech talk, but yeah, I know. No one, but you won't admit it here as well. One of my friends were building it. My friends on like in the tech community were building dating apps, and they got good traction. And I was just exploring Web3, and I was like, okay, let's build something to supplement their app. So I built this. It's called, yeah, it is what it is, a pickup lines dot art. It's a Web3 platform built on Ethereum blockchain, and yeah, it does what it says. It gives you pickup lines to use wherever you want to. Uh, in your campus, I mean, you can use it. I mean, why not? Or on your dating app. Yeah, so yeah, I built this in a week's time. It's not finished. There are a lot of issues in it, but it's good enough to present in the meetup. So I'm here presenting it. And yeah, so I should show the best stuff on there. So yeah, some of this is not safe for work, and I'm sorry about that, but I did not wrote any of this. I'll go for the last one. These are all transaction actually. All of these are done by real people. I am not spamming my own app. Yeah, so this all started 11 days ago. This was the first transaction I did. Transaction, you can say, just posted a thing. This is a too big a word. So I used, this was the first thing I did. This is, I hope you know CPR because you took my breath away. And everything went away. Please, I still apologize if you see something weird. But yeah, this was one of my favorites. Yeah, ho gaya tumhara. Someone actually wrote this. I'm not making this up. I don't know this because this is the beauty of a decentralized app. You don't know who made the transaction, but he is someone who has did it. OX715. So yeah, this is pretty much what the app is. This is what it does, and yeah, what a great way to start a conversation with the opposite gender. Hello. Yeah, so this was pretty much it, what I built. And I'm not going to go through the whole part of how to do the transaction because it is the same as how Pratik said it. But what I'll go through is bore you through a presentation. So let's start. Is it working? Yeah. So this is, I started a week ago, this thing, and built it and launched it. And yeah, there are numbers as well. That is what people want to see. So I took one of the good nerdy quotes out there, which is, "Are you the bug of my codes because you are driving me crazy?" Yeah. So, hi everyone who at Geek. I'm. This is the first time I'm coming to the office, by the way, and I've worked there for 1 year. So, and I live 2 kilometers from here. So yeah, and my bosses are here as well. So amazing stuff. So yeah, I work at GeekyAnts as a software developer. Most of the time doing Web2 stuff. I don't like the term Web2, Web3. I'll explain it later why. But yeah, I work as a software dev. I make apps and yeah, all these experiments. Last one was built, I think I built a Chrome extension, and now I'm into these things. Yeah. Yes, this is a pre-starting of a notion. I'm saying that this is a lot of work, but it's honest work. So yeah, spare me for that. So a Web3 dev. What is a Web3 dev? I feel it is a branding term. I don't think it is an actual thing, a Web3 developer, because if you look at, and now I'm going to go to a little in the past how Web2 and Web3 began. So Web2, we say that there are demarcations that okay, Web 1 existed from this to this, Web 2 this, and Web 3 this. But actually the first thing, like the decentralized thing, happened with 2008, which was Satoshi Nakamoto. I think many have heard of him but don't know who he is. He can be a person, he can be a country, he can be a bank, whatever there is. But 2008 he published a paper called Blockchain, Bitcoin, and that blew everything up. But it wasn't some sort of like a rocket invention or some sort of a nuclear weapon. People knew about this. People, if you go back to like when Facebook was being built, when yeah, Facebook when was being built and social media was about to take off, there was a big what do you say, competition between P2P networks and these centralized networks that we see right now, and we are users. of those. I mean, we upload thousands of pictures there for self-validation. So yeah, so that is what it was. And there was always a fight at that time. Skype launched. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Gen Z don't know what Skype is, but Skype came, and it was a centralized P2P network. But it was there at that time. P2P and your centralized network were fairly there. So that was Web3 as well. So how can we say that Web3 began after Ethereum launched? Ethereum launched after 2000 in around 2014, where the people who built Ethereum, they realized that okay, we know a blockchain is there, but we also know that most of the people are working through a browser. Uh, to access the net. So why don't we create something which is like a connection between your browser, your a user and a blockchain. So that is how Ethereum came about, and that is, if you develop in Ethereum, you will know how Ethereum came about. So that is what pretty much is. I feel Web 2 and Web 3 are not different terms. They are correlated. A developer is a developer, and it eventually, through my code, I'll also try to get like they are part of the same thing. You are just replacing one from another. Cool. Now coming back to the marketing stuff. So yeah, some numbers from what has happened, and clearly people love Web3. That has been a 1 week of this small project. Some 650 users. I'll going to do that approx. And yeah, people have visited from all the places there. Now building the front end of a decentralized app. How does that work? I'll go to, yeah. Please don't judge me for this code. I wrote it in a week. So yeah, so this is pretty much it of what a front end of a decentralized app looks like. And it is, if you are a front end dev, you pretty much know all of this. Like you're thinking that, okay, I've seen this before. So what is it that it is so different in a Web3? So if you build a Web3 app as a front end dev, there isn't much difference, but you use a libraries like you have been using through. We use libraries here and there everywhere in as a front end dev, but you use in Web3 as well. You use libraries, and one of those libraries are Ether. So actually, Web3 was actually a library's name that Ethereum launched, and Web3 became that. It is actually that I have verified it. So yeah, coming back to this, building a Web3 app isn't that difficult. You use libraries, and whenever you get that, he showed, right, the connecting a MetaMask wallet. That the basic thing that it does is that gives you a provider. Now provider is, you can say, an object, a window provider. You must guys know window dot. You use it, right? So window dot Ethereum came about, and that changes everything. And that is pretty much why you need to install a wallet. And just a side note, I told people to connect wallet to that website, and they actually asked like, which wallet? My Paytm wallet. So that is the level of educating we need to do to get Web 2, not Web 2, just people to blockchain. I'm saying my own stuff. Yeah, so this is pretty much it. I would have used a state management system, but I did not have the time. But if you go to one of those, I'm not going to go to a complete code because that would be too long, frankly. But if you look at any of those codes, like this is this simple line which starts at 49, which is your how you send a line to the blockchain. How does that happen? Like, isn't it some supernatural stuff? Well, it isn't. It's, if you look at it, everywhere there is a promise involved. I'm using async await, and that is pretty much what these things are do. You wait for a transaction to happen. It returns a promise. It waits for the promise to fulfill, and then all the rest of the things are as it is. I'm not doing anything which is very, as they say, is different. Just new things, as I say, is your contract address and stuff. ABIs, and what are ABIs and what are contract address. I'm not very much on detail, but as it is, like, if you deploy something on a blockchain, it gets an address, as you asked, right? Where does this transaction go? So basically, when he's sending something, he's not sending to that address. He's actually sending to a smart contract. That smart contract is in a node in somewhere in that network of blockchain, and is interacting with that specific smart contract. And I'll show you the smart contract in a bit. But that is how it works. You interact with the smart contract. You don't really care about the other stuff which is happening. And miners also do that as well. That is pretty much that is pretty much it with the front end stuff. And I don't intend to make it I don't intend to make it like, what's the word for it, diminish how what people are building with Web3 app. But it is simple. If you want to migrate from building centralized app to a decentralized front end apps, it won't be that much hard of work. You just need to get good with 1 2 libraries, and your sky's the limit. Coming back with the blockchain development with Solidity, this is the good part. This is not what you see uh, doing a front end dev does. And yeah, I'm going to jump straight to code. So yeah, so basically I feel it's Solidity is what? Solidity is an OP language. It is nothing more than that. Everything has a type. Everything you can build your own struct. I mean, struct is somewhat Java people relate to a higher level than JavaScript people. So yeah, that is pretty much it. You'll see different sort of data types, but see, it's a type language. You will have this u in 256 is nothing, it's an integer. And if you use this is an address, an array with addresses being stored. Address is basically here address is technically a string, but it is a specific type of string, that I can say. And a mapping is an object you use in JavaScript, a key value pair, that is the right word for it. And a constructor is a nice thing. You use it. You used to use it in Java, in React, but they sadly went away. And yeah, some small functions. And this is a great part about if you when once you deploy this thing to a blockchain, you can easily you call these functions from your app. That is how it works. You have like you can use the if you, people do ask multiple times, like when I built this and when I showed it to other people, the basic most obvious question was that how you are interacting with the front end app and the blockchain app. And the answer is simple. Like you deploy a front end app with, let's say, Versal, a backend. There are multiple companies who are doing this, who are basically platforms who are deploying this, and they have an API endpoint. You use that, and you go ahead and build the things. So basically, the thing that you saw in the earlier one, the function pickup, who was it hitting? It was hitting this function. That is pretty much it. And yeah, I'm not going to go to a lot of things. The only good thing I'm going to go to is the reward, because yeah, technically people are posting for that. And that is, yeah, another plug. You can go and post it till now, till April. You can actually win real ether. And I'm still hoping, Sanket, you will fund that. Yeah. So yeah. So coming back to the reward portal, reward function. What is this? I have reduced it to 10% of you users who are like all the people there. There's a 10% chance if you go there, you will actually be in the the probability to earn to get rewarded. So basically, what it happens is. There is a small function. There's a small variable called seed where we calculate the chances of the each block. That block is coming from the one transaction. Each transaction has a block, and that transaction has a difficulty. It depends upon the how much it like. For example, if you take gas fees, you can decide what is like you said, right? I think someone asked there the mining thing, right? So if you like reduce the gas price, like what is the gas price to any sort of a transaction? Who decides that? It's the developer who decides that. And if you like, for example, put the gas fees to too low, it will first thing the MetaMask or any wallet will do, it will say that this may not happen, this transaction will fail. Why it will fail? Because mining algorithms, miners don't want to waste their resources in those things which are where transactions are low. They want to process those transactions which are high, because at the end of the day they are also making money out of it. And this is a test network. But if I eventually went on to deploy it on a real and what is a test network and what is a real network? So Ethereum as a platform has one main Ethereum mainnet, which is like where you build stuff and all the real things live. And Ethereum has been generous to create 3, 4, 5 test networks, so you can people like me can come and, like, for example, I can't put this in a main network because I'm pretty sure nobody will spend actual money to send a pickup line. That is too lame. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So that is what a test network is, and that is what a real network is. So whenever you do a transaction, coming back to this code, piece of code, there is you get a certain block where there is a difficulty and then there is a timestamp. Now, why do I have to do all of this? Because I want some way to that seed to be unique every time. And one of the great things about this Web3 community is that it is filled with scammers. So if you actually put this contract on a real thing, like a real main network that I just said, hackers will attack it first before any users come. Because if you, like, for example, I've said, coming back to what I said, like, if you actually put out a smart contract, you put out a code, and this has reward in it, and I'm not going to start paying from my own contract. The contract will pay them. That is the thing. So contract has actual money involved. So what will a hacker do? What will you do? If you have the knowledge, you will try to hack it and get all the money that is stored in the smart contract and make the person who has basically get it. There is no money left. You get all the money and you go. Imagine this is a miniature app. Imagine this happening at a scale of, let's say, graph protocol. What is graph protocol? Please search it. I can't. Uh, I don't have that much energy. But yeah, that is what it is. You want to create a seed. This is basically a seed function where you create a unique number every time, and yeah, this is how you try to do. Like, people don't. There is always, that number is always unique, and inside of that, this is I have done because this is an array of addresses where I have just, like, to know how many are coming with each transaction, like 10% chance, around 25, 30 people have till now registered to it, like pushed their lines to this. So I want to know who are the winners in that. And similar stuff, require is an if statement, nothing more than that. And yeah, that is pretty much it. There is a dot call value where just you realize how much money, like, this is your money taking out from the Ethereum contract and sending those to directly to those wallet if they win it. That is the thing. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this function. And that is how you reward. Uh, that is how a reward function is written, and basically any function is written in Solidity. And I'm pretty sure half of you must have been like bored with this, like, what is happening. But yeah, this is how you write a blockchain code. And there are a lot of, it is not very, like, what is intuitive is the word to JavaScript code, but it still is. Once you get into, like, the groove of it, you will actually start enjoying it. I can say that to any programming language, but especially this follows. It followed for me for this one, for building a blockchain app. Yeah, coming back to now, I think I'm getting too carried on, and I'll finish it. And yeah, this is the blog. Coming back to the Solidity, and what is Solidity? Sorry, like, what is Ethereum Virtual Machine? This EVM. This is basically your abstraction code. If I create another arrow below it and create another block, that will be Ethereum. And that so Ethereum virtual machine, it's a runtime environment, nothing more than that. And it's basically an abstraction layer to get your Solidity code to that blockchain, and it basically works like a compiler. And that is pretty much it to all the stuff with building a small app. And you can pretty much, it's that simple. I don't want to make it much more harder than it is. And that is what I feel is a very big barrier. I personally believe that it is. I don't know how, but Web3 apps are made to show that they are some sort of, people who build Web3 apps are some sort of, have come from Mars. But technically, you can build a Web3 app in a week. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you.